Kia ora, welcome to Under the Checkered Flag, MotoGP edition. I'm your host Kate, and we're just going to jump right in.
It is Kate, Kelly, and Pozza, and we are back. And so is the racing because Thailand is on. It's officially race week, and very, very excited. So, we are going to be doing our predictions, but before we do that, we're just going to touch on Moto2 and Moto3 because they had their testing recently and it was barely covered. So, to be able to actually get some information, I've had to do a fair bit of digging, and we've got to shout out Moto Matters because they posted the combined timings. So, that gives us a much better overview of the racing and what happened. But I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts and if there were any surprises or anything exciting you heard or saw at the Moto 2 and 3 testing.
Scott Ogden actually surprised me a lot. Like, he's on a completely new bike. It's a team that wasn't really fast. Like, if you consider it the last year or two, if you look at the team that he's at now, they haven't been fast. They haven't really been anywhere, but he managed to put that in a P10. Now, I know it's only like testing. Testing doesn't matter. It's like practice in F1. Practice doesn't matter, but to me, it matters. I feel like this is actually a really big jump for him. I think it's a positive, and I really hope that it might lead to some good points finishes this year for him.
A few that have sort of positively surprised me in mainly Moto 2. Start off with just overall the fact that Aaron Canet's lap time that got him in first was, I think, a tenth away from the pole lap that I think was Valentino Rossi put up in 2005, which I think is just kind of interesting to see how much quicker the bikes are getting and have been over the last few years. Uh, wouldn't be me without mentioning Dennis Onshu up in fourth. Looked pretty strong all test, and I'm personally hoping he has a good year. And the only other person I really want to mention is Adrian Huertas, top rookie in seventh, only 6 tenths away from the top. I think he was pretty impressive all test as well.
Yeah, Adrian Hurt has actually got me really surprised because he's coming over from Supersport. Like he's done a reverse highway Mazia. Like Mazia has gone from Moto2 to Supersport. Huertas has gone from Supersport to not MotoGP, Moto2. The fact that he's actually that fast and on par with everyone else on a completely different bike from a completely different series, even it's very impressive to me. I think Paz might be onto something by saying he's going to be Rookie of the Year because yeah, he's just miles ahead of everyone else. Unfortunately, miles ahead of Colin Vire. Must admit, unfortunate, but yeah, good to see that for him.
Yeah, Poz may have pulled an absolute gem there with his Rookie of the Year prediction. One thing I wanted to note was just the injuries because we had quite a few, and I always find it bizarre, I suppose. I know it's like such a dangerous sport and things, but we had Sergio Garcia, Mario Aggi, Noah Detweiler, and Alonso Lopez all injure themselves. Sergio Garcia obviously is expected to be in the title fight this year based on how strong the start of his season last year was, but he is actually going to be missing the first race of the season. So, hopefully, a speedy recovery and we'll have him back racing and challenging for victories because I definitely want to see early 2024 Sergio Garcia back and racing as soon as possible. Super excited. It's a new opener, and I adore the racing at Thailand. It's always quite close. We get some really good battles, and as always, Moto 3 is amazing, but it's all three classes that are sensational. We're going to do our predictions. Now, first race of the season is always hard to predict. Thankfully, it shouldn't be as utterly chaotic as the Qatar opener with the tyres and Moto 2, where no one could have predicted that. But we're going to start with Moto 3. We're using the same format as last year. So basically, what that means is if someone gets P3 right, they get 5 points. If they get P2 right, they get 10 points, and P1 15 points. If they've got the right rider in the wrong place, it's 1 point. So who would like to start with Moto3?
Okay, so I've decided not to switch it around, but I've decided to fix the way I do my predictions because normally I go from first to third, and that's just, in hindsight, quite silly. So, starting with my third for Moto3, I've gone with David Munoz. I've complimented him for this year. I think he's going to be solid, not a title winner because he's too inconsistent. There's like too many incidents involving him, but I think judging off testing, he's going to be quick enough to get the podium. So he's my third. I have Angel Baqueras in second. I think he's going to be a title contender. I think he could win it. I don't know if he's going to win the first race this season. And in first place, judging purely off testing, Jose Antonio Rueda. I think he's so speedy. He was speedy last year. I think he can pull it off. And as a reserve, I've gone with good old Joel Kelso.
I haven't gone spectacularly different. I've got a few of the same riders in there. I actually had Kelso as my reserve, but changed it at the last minute just to be a bit different. I've gone with Rueda as my reserve because predicting him in the main three never ends well for me. In third, I've got Taya Furusato just because he got his first podium at Thailand and was very close to getting another one last year before he made slight contact with Colin Vaya. So I think he'll be up in the fight. And in third, in second, I've gone for David Munoz. He's looked strong in testing, looks good on the intact bike, and yeah, hoping he kind of finds that level of consistency this year, and also like the maturity. And shockingly, winning, I've gone for Angel Piqueras. I think he'll start the season the way he'll want to with a win, same as David Alonso last year. And yeah, just kind of set the season up for the domination that we all kind of expect.
There's going to be some common themes because, yeah, from testing and who's previously been strong at this track, I did want to put Munoz in my podium, but I've settled for him as my reserve rider. P3, I've gone with Angel Pegueras. I just think he's super strong, but I think he's going to suffer a little bit from being a new machine. For P2, I've gone Rueda. I rarely put him last year, and maybe that's because Poz was so confident and it turned into a little bit of a disaster. But yeah, for the top spot, I've gone for Adrian Fernandez. I don't know why. I don't know if it's delusion, but yeah. Moving on to Moto 2. My reserve is Manu Gonzalez. P3, this is probably a bit of hopium. Tony Arbolino, I just really hope he has a good season after last year. For P2, I've gone for Diego Moreira. Again, maybe I'm already putting delusion into this, but we'll see. Because for P1, I've gone for my boy, Aaron Canet.
Shockingly, I think I might be the one who's not going. Mine's a bit more realistic, I think. I have in third, I have Celestino Vietti. I know his testing wasn't that strong, but he's now on a speed up bike. He's on a really, really quick bike. He's a really quick rider. I think he can pull something out. For second, I think we all know who I've gone for second. Good old 44 Aaron Canet. Who else would I put there? God only knows. He might just stay there for the whole year. In my first, I have gone with Manu Gonzalez. I think he's absolutely a title contender, and I think he will just snatch it quite easily. And then as my reserve, I've gone for Dennis Onchu. He had a solid testing. He's in his second year. He's adapted. I think he can pull something out good.
Yeah, I've gone with sort of the same reasoning for my reserve. I've gone for Dennis Onju as well, just because he looked really strong in testing, wasn't that far off the top, was sort of up there in most of the sessions, and I don't think he was that bad at this track last year. He just needs to work on his qualifying basically. But in third, I've gone for Diogo Moreira. I based mine largely off of sort of last year. Got a few of them that were up there. So yeah, Diogo Moreira in third, because again, mainly in testing, looks strong. P2, I've gone for Manuel Gonzalez. I feel like this year he'll be challenging sort of more for the podiums and more for the wins than he has been in the last few years, and just yeah, sort of doing that more consistently. And as for the win, I've gone for Aaron Canet. I feel like he'll actually start the season well this year, and yeah, get into the winning straight away. He won the most races last year, so I think he'll sort of be a strong contender this year as well. Moving on to the MotoGP Sprint, I've gone for Alex Marquez as reserve because, again, a lot of this is testing. He looks strong in testing. GP24 is not too different from the GP25 this year, so I feel like all of the Ducatis could really be in contention. As for P3, I've gone for Franco Morbidelli, just because I was looking at the sprint results last year. He was sort of up there. He's still on the GP24 this year, so he'll not have to adapt to a new bike or anything. And I'm personally just hoping is a good year. And the top two wouldn't shock anyone. I've gone for Pecco Bagnaia in second and Marc Marquez in first, just purely because I have a feeling you've both probably put Mark, so I can kind of afford to go with him, but I could be wrong.
For the sprint, I've pretty much matched you, with the exception of my reserve is Franco Morbidelli and my P3 is Alex Marquez. I've also gone with Pecco for P2 and Mark for P1. I just think over that shorter race distance, Mark's more aggressive and he'll really, I think, do some damage in the sprints this year, much like Martin did last year. So that's my reasoning and I'm sticking with it.
Mine is close enough, actually. For my third, I've gone with Alex Marquez. I think he looks quicker this year. He looks a little bit more confident, so maybe I hope he can pull something out. However, I have gone with Marc Marquez in second. I don't think he's going to be aggressive enough in the first race of the season to snatch the win, but I think he will be close. Pecco Bagnaia P1, yeah, self-explanatory really. And then as my reserve, I've actually gone for Pedro Acosta because over long distances, he appears to be the faster KTM rider this year. So I think he can pull something out cool. I hope he does. Oh, and for the MotoGP feature race, for third, a little bit of copium, but I really think Marco Bezzecchi can do something good on that Aprilia, so I have him in third. Um, for my second, I have Pecco Bagnaia because, yeah. And then for my first, I've now gone for Marc Marquez because I think in the second race he'll have a bit more confidence and snap the win. And then as my reserve, once again, fastest KTM, Pedro Acosta.
I've gone with the same reserve as Kelly for the race, actually. I've gone for Pedro Acosta as well, and I've not gone too dissimilar to the sprint on my race results, but I've got Alex Marquez in P3 as opposed to Morbidelli, and my top two are still the same, Bagnaia and Marquez in that order.
Well, at least I've gone something different, kind of. For my reserve, I'm matching you both with Pedro Acosta. But for the podium, for P3, I've gone for Marc Marquez. P2, I've gone for Pecco Bagnaia. But for P1, I've gone for Franco Morbidelli. I just think the fact that he is on the exact same bike he raced last year, I think if he's going to win this year, I think it's going to be right at the start of the season in the first few races. And I really, really want Franco to take a win. It'd just be so rewarding. And so I will have everything crossed. And if I've just cursed him, apologies, like major apologies. That is it from us. Short and sweet this week, and next week we'll be able to dive into all of the action. We are on Twitter and do live blog/live tweet all of the sessions with the exception of warm up, even though I am such a warm up person, and I truly believe that we should be bringing warm-up back for Moto2 and Moto3 because it is so crucial from a safety point of view and for the riders to be able to test out the track conditions on the day so they're not barreling into turn one with no idea what the grip level and feel of that corner is. But alas, have a wonderful week, and I hope we get some exciting racing. As always, we'd love your predictions in the comment section below. But until next week, bye.